If you're moving from Northern Virginia to Richmond, the price difference is real. The problem is what buyers think that price difference is going to do for them. I worked with a family whose property taxes alone, before we even talked about mortgage, were close to what some people here pay for an entire month of housing. They came to Richmond expecting a deal. They got one. It just was not the fantasy version people sometimes picture when they compare Northern Virginia prices to Richmond prices online. They ended up in a 3,500 square foot home in Shore Pump after coming from a home under 2,000 square feet in Northern Virginia. Almost double the space. Lower monthly pressure, a home that made more sense for the next chapter of their life. But I want to be very clear about something right away. Shore Pump is not the cheap part of Richmond. Neither is every pocket of Midlothian. Glen Allen can be competitive too. Northern Virginia buyers often gravitate towards the Richmond area communities that feel familiar. Strong convenience, established neighborhoods, newer options, good access, and a lifestyle that does not feel like a total reset from what they are leaving. Those areas can still cost real money. So here's the line I want you to remember before we ever look at listings. Richmond usually costs less than Northern Virginia, but this is not a clearance sale. That gap between what people assume and what is actually true is where buyers can get into trouble. Not because Richmond is a bad deal. Richmond can be a great move. But if you come in thinking this market is going to hand you a premium suburb, a huge house, a perfect commute, and a major discount all at once, your search is going to start from the wrong math. I was born and raised right here in Richmond, and I've helped buyers make this move from places like Fairfax, Arlington, Loudoun, and the broader Northern Virginia area. I know where the Northern Virginia playbook works here. I also know where it does not. In this video, I'm walking through what actually changes when you move from Northern Virginia to Richmond. Price expectations, commute, county structure, home age, lot size, taxes, new construction, traffic, and how to reset your search before you start touring homes. Because Richmond is not just a cheaper version of the place you're leaving. It's a different market with different rules. The buyers who do best here understand that before they write an offer, not after. Hey y'all, I'm Holly Fine. I help people relocate to the Richmond, Virginia area with a clearer understanding of how the city, the counties, the suburbs, and the surrounding communities actually feel once you live here. If you're coming from Northern Virginia, you probably already understand that location changes everything. Fairfax, Arlington, Loudoun, Alexandria, Falls Church, and Prince William all function differently. That same instinct will help you here. Richmond is not one single market. The city of Richmond, Henrico, Chesterfield, Hanover, Goochland, Powhatan, and the surrounding areas all create different buying experiences. Where Northern Virginia buyers can get tripped up is the assumption that lower pricing automatically makes the search easier. Sometimes it does, other times it gives you a false sense of simplicity. Let's start with the number everyone wants to talk about first. The price gap between Northern Virginia and Richmond is real. If you're comparing Richmond to Fairfax, Arlington, Loudoun, or other high-cost Northern Virginia markets, more space for your money is absolutely possible here. That part is true. The comparison point is where things get messy. Richmond's metro-wide median price does not necessarily reflect the areas most Northern Virginia buyers end up considering. Many buyers who call me from Northern Virginia are drawn to places like Shore Pump or Glen Allen, Midlothian, Western Henrico, parts of Chesterfield, Hanover, and Goochland. The appeal usually comes from a mix of convenience, home size, neighborhood feel, access, and a lifestyle that offers more room without feeling completely unfamiliar. Those areas often cost more than the broad metro number. Sometimes they cost significantly more. A general Richmond price headline can make the market look easier than the real search will feel. For example, short pump often prices very differently from the metro as a whole. Single-family homes there can easily land well above the first number someone sees when they search Richmond home prices. Midlothian is also not one simple price point. Some pockets may feel more accessible, while established or higher demand communities can climb much higher. The point is not to discourage you, the point is to reset the math. Moving from Northern Virginia to Richmond can give you more house, lower taxes in some localities, and a monthly payment that feels more manageable. What it usually does not give you is a premium Richmond area home for a bargain basement price. The value story is more fractal than that. You may gain square footage, your lot may get larger, your monthly pressure may come down. New construction, updated resale homes, or locations that felt unrealistic in Northern Virginia may become possible. That's still a meaningful win. It just needs to be based on the real Richmond market, not the cheapest version of Richmond that shows up in a search result. Before you start touring, build your budget around the specific areas you would actually consider. The biggest lifestyle reset for many Northern Virginia buyers is transportation. Richmond does not have a metro system. If your life has been built around train access, station proximity, commuting by rail, or avoiding a second car, this area will feel different. Across most of the Richmond metro, car is part of daily life. A few city neighborhoods can support a more walkable routine, but that has to be chosen intentionally. You cannot assume the broader metro will function that way. Now, the trade-off can be very positive. Traffic in Richmond is dramatically lighter than what many Northern Virginia buyers are used to. If you've been dealing with 495, 66, toll lanes, express lanes, long backups, or a commute that changes your mood before the day even starts, Richmond can feel like a relief. Most of my relocating clients are not sitting in traffic for an hour every evening just to get home. A lot of daily drives here fall closer to 20 to 30 minutes, depending on where you live and where you're headed. That does not mean traffic never happens. It does. A commute from one side of the metro to the other still needs to be tested. But compared with Northern Virginia, the daily traffic burden can feel much lighter. The real trade-off is simple. Richmond gives up the train-based lifestyle that many Northern Virginia buyers know. But it may give back easier driving, less congestion, and a car-based routine that feels calmer than expected. You have to know whether that trade fits you. If being car dependent feels like a step backwards, don't ignore that. Your search may need to focus on the city of Richmond or another very specific pocket where walkability matters more than space. If you're comfortable driving at more room with less traffic pressure, the rest of the metro opens up in a much bigger way. This is the part many videos skip, and it matters when you're serious enough to write an offer. Northern Virginia has its own real estate norms. I do not work with that market, so I'm not going to pretend to know every detail of how transactions work there. What I can tell you is that many Northern Virginia buyers come from a market where off-market activity, private listing networks, brokerage-specific inventory, and early access conversations feel like a major part of the strategy. Richmond works differently. Here, the MLS is still the center of the market. Broad exposure usually matters because sellers want qualified buyers to see the home. That means you're not typically dealing with the same level of agent-gated or brokerage-only inventory that buyers may hear about in some Northern Virginia conversations. For a relocation buyer, that can be good news. The playing field can feel more straightforward. The strategy also changes. Success here is less about chasing a secret private list and more about preparation, local understanding, realistic expectations, and the ability to move quickly when the right home appears. The other big point is due diligence. Virginia is a buyer beware state. That affects how you should think about inspections, contingencies, disclosure, and your responsibility to investigate the property before closing. This is not something to fear, it's something to understand before you are under contract. If you're coming from another part of Virginia, some of this may feel familiar. If your last purchase was in another state, it may not. Either way, I would want you to know how the local process works before the house pulls you in emotionally. Because once you love the kitchen, the lot, and the location, it gets harder to think clearly about crawl spaces, HOA documents, utility details, drainage, inspections, and property-specific risk. Preparation matters because it keeps the pretty parts of the house from distracting you from the expensive parts of the decision. If you're relocating from Northern Virginia in the next 6 months and you are serious about making this move, I would love to help you get this right from the start. I put together a free Richmond relocation guide to help you start sorting through the area. You can get that through the link in the description or scan the QR code here and have the guide sent directly to your inbox. You can also grab a time on my calendar here for a real conversation about your specific situation. No pressure, no sales pitch, just a practical conversation about your timeline, your budget, where you were coming from, and what kind of Richmond area life would actually fit you. Okay, let's keep going. If you're used to Northern Virginia, you already know that one metro can contain very different markets. Fairfax does not feel like Arlington. Loudoun creates a different daily routine than Alexandria. Falls Church, Prince William, and McLean are not interchangeable just because they are all part of the same larger region. Richmond works the same way in principle, but the localities are different. The Richmond Metro includes multiple distinct localities, and they matter. Henrico, Chesterfield, Hanover, Goochland, Powhatan, and the city of Richmond are some of the ones I get asked about most. Each one has its own tax structure, school system, city or county services, housing stock, commute patterns, and overall feel. Those differences can be significant. Henrico and Chesterfield give buyers a broader mix of convenience, suburban options, established neighborhoods, and new construction. The city of Richmond offers walkability, historic homes, restaurants, culture, and a more urban daily rhythm, but the tax structure and housing stock are different from the surrounding counties. Hanover, Goochland, and Powhatan can offer more space, quieter settings, and a more spread out feel depending on the exact area. None of these are universally better. They answer different questions. Coming from Northern Virginia, use the instinct you already have. Do not treat Richmond as one search. Compare the localities the way you would compare the different parts of Northern Virginia. A home in the city of Richmond and a home in Goochland may both show up under a broad Richmond search, but they are not solving the same lifestyle problem. That's why I always want buyers to understand the metro before individual listings start taking over the conversation. The physical product changes when you move from Northern Virginia to Richmond. In many parts of Northern Virginia, especially the closer in and more competitive areas, land is expensive, density is higher, and a lot size can be one of the biggest constraints. Richmond gives buyers a wider range of options. Quarter acre and half acre lots are much more realistic in many suburban and county searches. Farther out, especially around Goochland, Powhatan, Manakin, Sabot, or the more rural edges of the metro, multi-acre properties can become part of the conversation. That does not mean every Richmond buyer gets land. It means the search has more variety. New construction also becomes more realistic for many buyers. Some parts of the Richmond Metro still have enough available land to support active building, so buyers may find new construction in areas like Short Pump, Mechanicsville, Ashland, Chesterfield, Goochland, and other surrounding communities. If new construction was not realistic for your budget in Northern Virginia, it may become possible here. Builder communities still need to be compared carefully. A base price online does not tell you everything. Builder contracts, deposit structures, incentives, timelines, design selections, lot premiums, HOA rules, included features, and closing expectations can vary a lot. home age varies widely too. In the city of Richmond and some closer in neighborhoods, you may find older homes with historic details, character, and maintenance considerations. Some suburban areas have homes from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. Other communities are brand new or still under construction. A 1920s city home, a 1980s suburban resale, and a 2026 new build are three very different purchases. The inspection process, budget planning, maintenance expectations, and negotiation strategy can change with each one. If you're coming from a market where the age or condition of homes looks different, that is worth slowing down for. Do not only compare square footage and price, compare the full ownership experience. Let me bring this into practical advice. Before you start touring homes in Richmond, I would do three things. Start by recalibrating your price expectations. Richmond can offer real value, but it's not a clearance sale. Use actual pricing from the areas you are most likely to consider, not broad market averages that include places you would never seriously search. That will keep your budget grounded from the beginning. Next, be honest about the car-based lifestyle. If metro access, walkability, and transit are truly non-negotiable, your Richmond search should be very targeted. The city of Richmond, the Fan, Scott's Addition, parts of Manchester, Carytown, and other walkable pockets may deserve more attention. If you're open to driving in exchange for more space and lighter traffic, your options expand quickly into the counties and suburbs. Finally, treat the Richmond Metro like multiple markets. Northern Virginia buyers already understand this concept. You would not compare every property in Fairfax, Arlington, Loudoun, and Prince William as if they were the same market. Do not do that here either. Henrico, Chesterfield, Hanover, Goochland, Powhatan, and the city of Richmond each need their own lens. Do those three things before you get deep into listings, and the search becomes much more efficient. You will waste less time on homes that were never solving your actual problem. You will also be less likely to fall for an area that looks good online but does not fit the way you live. Here's what I want you to walk away with. Richmond can be a genuinely great move for a lot of Northern Virginia buyers. More space may be possible. Taxes may be lower depending on the locality. Traffic can feel lighter. The monthly budget may have more room to breathe. I've watched this move work beautifully for client after client. It works best when people come in with realistic expectations, not expecting a mansion for free, not assuming the buying process works exactly the same way it does up there, not treating Richmond like one simple market. The real answer is more nuanced. Richmond costs less in many comparisons, but not by millions. The market has different rules. The localities matter. The daily rhythm is not the same. If you understand that before touring homes, you will make a much smarter decision. If you're relocating from Northern Virginia in the next 6 months and want help resetting your search the right way, you can get my free Richmond relocation guide through the link in the description or scan the QR code here. For a more personal conversation, grab a time on my calendar here. I help people navigate this exact move regularly. Let's make sure you understand Richmond before you start comparing it to the place you're leaving. Thanks for watching. I'll put the next video up on the screen now.